Ladies and gents, today we have a special guest, MMA fighter Pat Mitchell, UFC welterweight champion and UFC 16 welterweight tournament winner. Uh, Good morning and good day, sir.
Morning, brother. How are you?
Good, good, brother. Well, welcome to our podcast, U.S. Military Veteran Suicide Prevention podcast, where we discuss veteran suicide prevention. Uh, Pat, we were talking. You're doing some stuff with some organic foods, and I know for anybody watching, eating healthy is a way to alleviate some stress. I know a lot of people out there who are not eating healthy or not drinking enough water. Uh, that can add stress to your lifestyle. So Pat, he's here to help lighten us on organic foods as well as discuss suicide prevention today. And thank you, Pat, for joining us.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, my journey started where growing up in Iowa here, I wanted to be a great wrestler because obviously, and New Jersey's got great wrestling as well, but Iowa's got, a rich wrestling history. So I started wrestling when I was in kindergarten, actually. But what I didn't know was that my bedroom being in my mom's basement, it leaked water every time it rained. So I had a lot of respiratory damage from black mold and had trouble with my endurance because I was breathing basically through a straw, is what it felt like. So it wasn't until my early 20s when I was turning professional in kickboxing that a good friend of mine with a lot of knowledge in terms of organics got me on a lot of antioxidant products that removed the inflammation for the most part from my body, and my respiratory system had healed up literally in 10 days. So I went from being able to spar 3 or 4 rounds with world class boxers and kickboxers to 10 rounds just in a week and a half. And it changed the trajectory of my life because I was able to win a United States title in kickboxing. Then I won the UFC title and held that for 4 years and was able to train 95 kids into televised careers, 12 world champions, and work with a lot of, law enforcement and military, thousands of people, and then have a broadcasting career as well. So just by discovering organics, it changed my life. And, this is something that medical doctors couldn't figure out. They couldn't figure out how to heal my respiratory system. And so that's why I've just constantly researched organic supplements and organic foods on what can help people change their health.
So, pretty much, you're drinking organics now. How long have you been drinking organics?
Well, eating and drinking organics, it's been, you know, basically, gosh, let me think.
But it's a lifestyle change for you.
30 years, 30 years of experience in just research and testing on myself and my athletes, what's going to work best, what's going to give you the best endurance. And, the a lot of times we would be asked when my team was dominant in the world, I think we were the best team in the world, honestly, for about a decade. And everybody was always asking, because we were known for our endurance, everybody was always asking what types of supplements we would use and things like that. And we would never reveal what we used because we wanted the advantage. And also we had, obviously, growing up here in Iowa and a lot of wrestlers, we had pretty good work ethic, to say the least. So we were doing things endurance wise that would make a billy goat puke. And we would just stand on the gas pedal in fights and run everybody out of gas. That was kind of our thing. If we got you into the second or third round, you were going to be in big trouble.
Right. So, organic, ladies and gentlemen, is the way to go. You hear it right now from Pat. Uh, and, I'm kind of a dietitian myself, and eating healthy is the way to go. Anybody out there eating Burger King and McDonald's, lay off it.
Right, right. Well, and that, there's a lot of things that go on for you guys. You guys have a lot of chemicals that you're exposed to in the military, and that those chemicals and heavy metals build up in your cells. And the best way to explain it is through a lifetime of exposure, whether, even here in the Quad Cities where I live in Iowa, there's 22 chemicals in our drinking water that are way above EPA, allowed levels. Things like atrazine, that's I think 4 times as much supposed to be. And in laboratory tests with rats, and then even in swamps with frogs, it's known to not only destroy the testosterone in those animals, but male frogs and male rats actually grow female genitalia from that chemical alone. And so when you look around you and you see a lot of feminized boys and men, it's from the drinking water, it's from the food, it's from the chemicals, it's from the soy, things like that. People have to do research on that to be able to protect your hormonal levels. But again, when the synthetics get trapped in your cells, they're not water soluble. So your cell not recognizing that as water soluble, once they're in, they're generally going to stay in there and build up more and more until disease kicks in. So you've got to put organics in your body that are capable of going into the cells, and they'll bond with those heavy metals and toxins. And then your cell recognizes the organics as water soluble, and then will release it altogether or chelate it out of the cell. And that's how you end up finding true health, as well as fixing gut bacteria, because the gut bacteria being off will give off chemicals that are counterproductive to thought. That's why they call the stomach the second brain. So it's super important to be able to do research and understand what things to put in your body to change not only the way you feel, but the way you think.
Absolutely. A healthy lifestyle is definitely the way to go. And I enjoy organic from the grocery store all the time as much as I can.
Right.
Like I said, in the military. I was a cook, so I learned a lot about dietitians and stuff like that, eating healthy meals. And I know the military, they're trying to incorporate soldiers eating more healthy in their, I know just recently the military is going to start allowing active military to eat bison because it has more protein in it. So the military is changing their foods they're eating for their soldiers. And I think this organic thing should be a lot bigger for maybe our active duty and definitely our veterans community, for veterans who want to stay healthy.
Right. Well, and there's been a long debate, I know, back and forth over many years about soy being in military food, and it absolutely should not be in military food because it does lower testosterone. It's proven to lower testosterone. And, a lot of even parents across the United States have been having their kids bring their school lunches home and then taking those to laboratories and have them tested. Excuse me. And you wouldn't believe the amount of soy and the amount of heavy metals and chemicals that are in school lunches. So, it's super important to do your research, send your kid to school with the right food to fuel them so that they, develop correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Where's a good place to get some good organic? I mean, just a local grocery store for anybody watching, or
it's tough.
Maybe
it's tough. As far as food goes, you've got to make sure when you look in the produce section that you look at, do research on what's called PLU numbers. And the lower numbers, when the starting number, it's a 4 or 5 digit code that I was taught by a good friend of mine, Tim James from Chemical Free Body. And if it's a lower number, like a 3 and a 4, those are herbicide and pesticides have been used on those. You got to get up into the 8s and 9s when you inspect your fruit and your vegetables to make sure that it's truly organic. And if it's not truly organic, you should ask the people that handle the produce section at the grocery store why they're selling this and labeling it organic when it's not.
Right. Yeah. So, it's tough to get organic stuff. I know everybody's eating non-healthy nowadays, with the fast food places. Imagine if you could just pull up somewhere and get a salad at a fast food place, or organic fruit somewhere, more organic fruit stands just in the cities and stuff. Everything's going fast.
It's always cheaper to make food at home anyway. So, that way that's how America gets back to health. Do a little bit of research on what you should be putting in your body, and then cook for yourself at home. Make more meals at home, and that's where America can change its health and, also being aware and understanding of, all the chemicals that are used in production, the acids and all kinds of different stuff that they use in manufacturing and things like that, in agriculture. All the people out there that are, they want a perfect lawn. Well, in reality, when you're putting petroleum-based fertilizers all over your lawn, and then your grass grows, or any plant that they use, petroleum-based fertilizers on, that plant will grow because it's a synthetic version of the molecule. The plant accepts it, the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and it will grow, but the plant is sick. So then bugs are going to want to eat it because it doesn't have a defense mechanism. And weeds will want to grow around it because it's not giving off the enzymes that would hinder weeds from wanting to grow around it, or bugs from wanting to eat it. So glyphosate is sprayed on it. We know glyphosate causes issues with humans. And on top of that, at least a lot of studies have shown that glyphosate causes a lot of problems. And glyphosate was actually patented as an antibiotic. So they're spraying antibiotics all over sick plants is what they're doing.
Mm.
So, that's why my journey has taken me from, my own health and healing my respiratory system to understanding there's a bigger picture out there, and then realizing that the food was horrible because, I thought it was like this everywhere around the world, that grocery stores were just grocery stores, but fighters would come from all over the world to train at my gym, from Asia, from South America, from Europe, and they would, they'd be there for 4 to 8 weeks, depending. And they would go to the grocery store and go shopping. And every time those foreign fighters would come to my gym, they'd go, "Your grocery stores are disgusting. That's why now we know why Americans are so fat and so sick, is because what you guys are eating." And, light bulbs started going off. And, over 30 years ago, when I was teaching, children's karate, and these boys would be brought in all of a sudden. They had this new thing that was popping up called autism. And it was 1 in 5,000 kids back then. Now it's 1 in 34, I believe, boys have autism. And so, this is directly linked to, a lot of the toxins that we're being exposed to.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So
I eat.
you see those. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I eat healthy daily. I agree with you. Absolutely.
Yeah. So then we get to the supplements. We've got to get high level antioxidants to put into our body to be able to clean those toxins and heavy metals out of our cells. So, through all my years, I was lucky enough to stumble on and have a friend who informed me about a product that was a fulvicumic acid, and that's basically comes from the most nutrient rich peat bog in North America. And the guy that tested for years these bogs, he worked in a mud bath place in Europe in his early 20s. And he'd see people brought in wheelchairs, and they'd put them in this mud and soak them in the mud. And then they'd take them out and rinse them off, put them back in the wheelchair. And eventually these people would come back with crutches or with a cane. And
right.
They'd get in the mud. And then eventually many of them, it's certainly not 100% foolproof way to heal everybody, depending on what's going on with your body. But they were absorbing. Your skin is your largest organ. So whatever you put on it, you're going to absorb. And so while they soaked in that mud, their skin soaked in all the nutrients, and it was chelating the heavy metals and toxins out of their cells. And that's the way it was working. And so he tested for the most nutrient-rich peat bog in North America. And when he found it, he knew to go down until he got to the sediment layer, where all the nutrients of 1,500 different types of plants had decomposed for 60,000 years, and where those nutrients would be most highly concentrated. And no chemicals used in the process, but once he gets that fine powder from his patented process, and you're able to put that in your body, then you're able to chelate, a lot of those toxins out of your cells is the goal. And it's got a unique set of pristine 60,000-year-old microbes Microbes are very important to health for gut health, and those microbes, you know, are our best chance at resetting our gut bacteria, in my mind.
Right, right. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the whole thing. Like I said, is, you know, with people in general, we've got a lot of very sick people, and a lot, you know, you look around America, and 70% of Americans are on one sort of prescription or another. Well, our largest GDP, gross domestic product, is healthcare at not million, not 4 billion, but $4 trillion a year are spent on sick Americans, and that's a national crisis. It's been a national crisis for several decades now, and it's got to change through education.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So be preventative in their health instead of waiting until after they're sick to give them something. Get them on
Right.
the right foods, eating right, so they don't get sick.
And I've seen a lot of people, look, I've seen thousands of people turn their health around through changing their lifestyle. That was key, you know, and you know, just changing what you're eating. Don't eat processed foods, you know, try to stay away from starchy carbs, you know, the breads, the pastas, things like that that convert to sugar, which convert to fat and also cause inflammation in the body. You know, you wonder why you have you know, inflammation in your joints or in your gut or wherever. Well, just try cutting those starchy carbs out for 30, 60 days. You know, if you're going to have a sandwich, just roll it up in lettuce instead and eat it like that. And then your gut won't bloat. You won't have the inflammation, but you'll have
Right,
gotten the good stuff into your body, you know.
right. So it's never too late to start eating healthy, is what you're saying, Pat.
No, it's never too late. It's never too late. And I've seen people through organics be in dire straits in terms of their health. I mean, they're in really big trouble. And through those changes and using organic supplements, you know, the antioxidants that I'm talking about, you know, their life changes dramatically, and it changes fairly quick, you know. So, you know, it's better than being forced to go and pay money, a lot of money, to very wealthy people for, you know, drugs.
Eating organic is a better habit and less dependent too.
Right, right. Yeah, you know, you can, by eating correct, people go, "Oh my God, organic food's so expensive." Man, when you don't have your health anymore, that's expensive.
Exactly.
But
Yep.
I've got health insurance. Well, you got a deductible too.
Yeah, if you would have just used his healthcare money for good food, yeah, they wouldn't even need health insurance for a
Well,
long
and
time.
that's the thing is, you know, if and people talk about, you know, people are always raising hell about diabetes, the cost of you know, insulin for diabetes. Well, 90 to 95% of all diabetes cases, I think there's 30, last I looked, 34 million people in America have diabetes. That's basically 1/10 of society has diabetes, and it's climbing faster and faster. But it's 90 to 95% have type 2 diabetes, which is correctable through what you eat and by exercise. And so, but those same people are complaining about the cost of insulin. I don't know how, what I don't know what to tell you besides, listen, man, get up off the chair and go get a gym membership or go for walks, do whatever you got to do, and throw all the garbage that converts to sugar out of your pantry and out of your refrigerator, and start eating right. And when you give your body the organic nutrients it's supposed to have, then all your cells aren't screaming at your stomach that you're hungry all the time, and you're not eating massive meals because your body's telling you you're starving. Because, well, technically, no matter how big you get and how much you eat, you will starve. You don't have the organic minerals and nutrients in your body that will signal your cells to tell your stomach, "I'm good. I don't need to eat." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You know, so like for me, um, I go out to the garden, I clip off some leaves of Swiss chard and kale, saute it in um, salted grass-fed butter, and throw some eggs in there and scramble it up. That's what I have for breakfast. I mean, because I've got so many organic nutrients in my body, I generally don't need to eat a whole lot.
Yeah, a little kale, a little mixed eggs in the morning. Whew, that's all you need. Skip the toast, right? No bread.
Right. Exactly. That's it. You know, so
Now,
and
so you
people,
said scramble, right? Do you do salt, pepper? Do you any kind of, or just straight
yeah, you know, that's
scrambled?
the other thing. It's you know, I eat a lot of salt. I've always eaten a lot of salt because I sweat a lot, right? So people go, "Oh my God, you're going to get high blood pressure." Salt doesn't cause high blood pressure. We are what percentage? We're a massive amount of salt water, right? So
Right,
salt is an electrolyte to conduct electricity current in your body. You have to have salt in your body. I mean, when people that go for long runs, or they get dehydrated and they drink just water that doesn't have salt in it, right?
right,
They end up dying because their organs don't function without the organic minerals, right? You can drink
right.
too much water that doesn't have what it's supposed to have in it and flush all that stuff out of you, and then you're in trouble. So, no, I eat salt, and because it doesn't cause high blood pressure. Inflammation causes high blood pressure when your arteries dilate and create pressure down on the blood that's in it, less space to move through your arteries. That's what causes it. Inflammation causes literally everything. Just a different manifestation of inflammation in your body, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's just, you know, some people have high blood pressure, other people have arthritis, other people have, you know, digestive issues, other people respiratory issues like I had. It was caused by inflammation. So if we take good high level antioxidants, we can remove the inflammation out of our bodies and relieve ourselves of the symptoms of whatever it is they tell us we've got.
So this stuff's good for digestive problems.
Well, antioxidants in general, and anything with good microbes, you know, you can't just go to a grocery store or a health food store and just buy pre and probiotics and expect them to work, because many times they aren't they aren't the they aren't the type you want, and many times they aren't alive. They need to be actually alive, living organisms to reset and fix your gut bacteria. So the fulvic acid that I use, and the product that I started, is called Super Soldier. They can go to organicsupersoldier.com to find that. But I can also I'll send you the link where people can go to my buddy's website, who's got, you know, one of the absolute best formulators in the world, Dr. Treadway, who does all the formulation for his products. And there are zero chemicals in any of his stuff. I mean, he's very strict about that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll have to get that link.
yeah, and you know, also using, you know, good antioxidants, you know, you stand a good chance at raising oxygen levels in your cells. If you like to run or you like to work out, you know, for athletic performance, if I have more oxygen in my cells, that means my muscles aren't going to run out of oxygen as soon. And because if my muscles run out of oxygen, then they're going to look for sugar to burn for energy. And the byproduct of burnt sugar in your muscles is lactic acid, which causes fatigue and soreness.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, and that's the thing is, if you're eating things that are either sugar or convert to sugar, you've got a lot of sugar in your body and not enough oxygen. So you're going to be burning a ton of sugar and you're going to feel like shit because you got a bunch of lactic acid in it.
So eat organics. Call your guy with Super Soldier, right? .com for the good organics.
Yeah, organic
Hydrate.
super soldier. And my battery is, I apologize, dude. My battery is already almost done. So we can do another episode, though, here in the very near future.
Right, right. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I had like one or two questions. So real fast, where did you learn how to wrestle, and how old were you?
Bettendorf, Iowa, started when I was in kindergarten. So we were one of the better teams in the state of Iowa. Very rich wrestling history here. And had I learned about my respiratory issue and how to solve it earlier, I probably would have done a lot better. I went to state, I placed at state, things like that, but I never won a state championship because I couldn't breathe. I had horrible endurance.
Right, right. Okay. Yeah, because I wrestled. I wrestled in New Jersey. So
So you can
when
wrestle.
when I seen you a wrestler, I was like, man, I got to talk to this guy because there's nothing like rolling on the mat and stuff. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to die on you, bro. I don't want to die on you. I got like red. I got
All
this
right,
much
yeah,
red
brother.
on my neck.
Let's set up another episode here in
Absolutely.
a couple weeks. All
You
right,
got
brother.
it.
We appreciate you coming on.
Thank
God
you.
bless
Stay
you.
in touch.
All right, Pat.
Peace.
Peace.
This thing's gonna die. I gotta find the